Morning, guys. Welcome to today's Ignite call. We are looking at something called the emotional gap today. And what we're looking at is basically why you react to certain things like you do, why it can end up costing you further down the line with health and fitness, with your fat loss goals, with all that kind of stuff, and how you can stop this and how you can stop just reacting to your emotions instantly and actually thinking your way through the process. So this is going to be a really, really important video today. And I strongly urge you to kind of put the tactics I'm going to give you into practice next time you're feeling emotional about something, because we generally just act upon our emotions rather than stopping and thinking about stuff. So the first thing I'm going to get into is that the analogy I'm going to use here is nobody eats a full pack of biscuits because they're hungry. If you think about this, we don't eat a full pack of biscuits or a massive family-sized pack of Doritos or whatever because we're hungry. We're doing it from an emotional standpoint. It could be you're tired, it could be bored, stressed, lonely, something happened at work and you haven't dealt with it, or it's just really kind of freaked you out. This is why we kind of binge eat those foods from an emotional standpoint. The biscuits aren't the problem. It's the 10 seconds before the biscuits that is the problem that we need to look into and we need to resolve. And that's what we're going to be going into today. So that, to me, that just makes complete sense, doesn't it? We don't eat that full pack of the biscuits because we're hungry. We're doing it because something's happened. We're responding to what's happened. The feelings are not instructions. This is the first thing we want to get over. The feelings that we have, they might feel like they're instructions, but it's just your mind playing tricks on you, okay? So stress might feel like a command to eat food, to make us feel better. It's a comfort thing. Tiredness is a good reason for your mind to convince you that you should skip the gym or skip your workout. And frustration just feels like, what's the point? Let's just write off the whole week, okay? They are feelings, all right? They are signals. The key thing about feelings and signals is that they pass. And the mistake here is when you treat a temporary feeling like a permanent fact, because that's what people do. If they're stressed, they're like, oh, I can't do this, I'm going to eat this. If I'm tired, oh, I can't go to the gym, it's impossible. If you're frustrated, it's like, oh, what's the point? I'm going to throw it all away. We treat it as factual when it's not. They are just temporary feelings that if we learn how to control them, we can make some real progress with this rather than just acting upon them straight away. So the main issue with all of this, right, is it's not a discipline issue. I think people think that when they feel like they're emotional, tired, stressed, whatever, and they cave into something, it's a discipline problem. It's not, Most people have a 0-second gap between feeling something and then doing something about it. So we need to widen that gap, which is what this is all about, right? So people don't pause, they don't think, they don't choose wisely as a result of that. So we need to build that gap. We need to make that gap bigger, and then everything will change because you actually have thought about the situation you're in and you'll make a far more informed decision rather than just being like, you know what, I'm just going to respond and react instantly. So we've got 5 tactics here that we're going to work on to build that gap, okay? Tactic number 1 is name it before you act on it. So simple, stupidly simple, but it works. It could be this, for example. I'm not hungry, I'm tired, I've had a rough day. It's logically processing that emotion, You're absolutely knackered. You're like, right, I'm going to go to the kitchen. This packet of Obs is screaming my name, yeah? No, stop, think, name it before you act upon it. That moment that you name that emotion, it loses half of its power, if not more. So you create distance between the feeling and the response. When you create that distance, that's when you can actually think logically about the situation. Sounds simple, works every time. Honestly, super, super effective. Tactic 2, the 10-minute rule, okay? You're allowed the thing. You're allowed some hobnobs. I keep using hobnobs as an example. You're allowed them, okay? You're just not allowed it right now, right? So set yourself a timer for 10 minutes. This one takes a little bit more than just the previous one that we spoke about, but set yourself a timer for 10 minutes. Go and do something else, And if you still want it after 10 minutes, have it. Most of the time, though, you won't, because the urge was never about food. It was about your emotions. It was about responding to that emotion. So it's not a hunger thing. It's a response to an emotion, okay? So if you go and spend 10 minutes doing something else, you're far less likely to want to have that when you come back and that 10 minutes has surpassed, Tactic number 3, change your state, not your snack. So what I mean by this is that emotions live within the body, right? Not just the head. So you cannot think your way out of an emotional spike. It's pretty damn hard to do that. So what you can do instead is you can move your way out of one, right? Could be anything. These are just examples. Go for a walk around the block, do 20 press ups or 20 squats just then and there on the spot, drink a cold glass of water, or just get outside, get some fresh air, go and pat the dog or something, just something that's changing the state of the situation. So like I said, emotions don't just live in the head, they live in the body. And if you can move and kind of take yourself out of that stressful situation or that emotional situation you're in, you're far less likely to want to cave in and go and have the packet of hobnobs. We'll keep that example. Why not, hey? Tactic number 4, very simple question. It's a filter question. Would the person I'm trying to become do this right now? Okay, so ask yourself that in the moment. You're staring at a packet of crisps and you're like, would the person I want to become, would they have that right now? And you already know the answer to that. Okay, that's the whole point behind that question. So that question just hits home, makes you think, makes you stop, and again, takes you out of that emotional state. Tactic number 5 is to decide in advance. So you never win an argument with yourself at 10 p.m. because the brain is ready to switch off, it's quiet. So we need to have some rules in place. And these are rules that need to stay in place. They're not just kind of fuzzy boundaries. They are rules that are in place. So the kitchen shuts at 8 p.m. All right. This is a rule that you made when you were calm, when you weren't hungry, when you weren't running on empty. You made it when you were thinking logically about stuff. Workouts in the diary. This should be done anyway. Workouts in the calendar. A commitment made when you had clarity, when you had conviction. You honor that like your life depends on it. Okay. So that workout is in the calendar. Decisions that you make when you are calm, not when you're emotional, are the ones that you truly want. The emotions override that because that's just what emotions do. So we need to have that calm state and think, right, I'm going to put these in place when I'm calm, when I'm thinking logically about stuff, and then boom, when you are feeling kind of irrational and emotional, you can still have them in place, okay? So what does all of this mean? Well, the goal is to not ever feel stressed. You're going to feel stressed, you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel fed up. The goal isn't to eliminate that. It's never, ever going to happen. The goal is to build the gap and delay the response to that emotion, okay? It could be 2 seconds, 5 seconds, long enough to choose what you want to do rather than just react to what your emotions are telling you to do. Hopefully this is all making sense, okay? Because this is so, so powerful because a lot of people struggle with this. And if you can really start to crack it, boom, you'll be in a really, really good place. And the thing is as well, you will slip up at times. It's going to happen, okay? The fact of the matter is that is always going to be the case. But when you slip, what we do then is we never miss twice. So that's when the never miss twice rule comes into play. One emotional decision is not a failure. It is a human thing to do. It's a human response to everything that's going on in life right now. Okay, well, going on forever in life. Yeah. When you have one emotional decision, it's not a problem. You just never miss twice. If you have 10 in a row, that's a pattern. That means resolving. But the good thing is patterns can be changed. So we need to be aware of this situation as well, okay? So don't feel like you can't ever slip up. You will have times where this happens, and you were like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. What you don't need to do then is think you're a failure because of it. You just think, okay, that's done. Draw a line under it. Next time it doesn't happen. I don't miss twice. I'm back on it, back at my healthy meal, back doing my workouts, all of that stuff, So the action tasks for this week are as follows. Number 1, catch yourself just once feeling like this, okay? Just once, that's all. So if you have this a lot and you can really feel it coming on a lot, I want you to stop and think, right, notice the feeling is the next thing we're going to do, and then you're going to name it. So you're going to be specific. Is it tiredness? Is it boredom? Is it an anxious or anxiety? Is it feeling frustrated or frustration at something? The third thing is we pause and we choose differently. So even a 2-second pause just to stop and think. Sometimes I get people to think about, you put it in front of you, the food or whatever, or if you're going to skip a workout, you just think, right, what would Mark tell me in this situation? And that is long enough for you to just think about stuff, So that's another option we could use. And then if you're really struggling, message me and say, right, don't tell me what you ate and the problem, the emotional response and all that kind of stuff. Tell me what you felt in that moment and tell me how you overcame it. Or if you didn't overcome it, you can let me know. And then we can say, right, next time, this is what we're going to do to overcome that, okay? So this is all really, really powerful stuff, guys, and it will honestly make a massive difference to your results moving forward. Final slide here. You are not weak, all right? You are just reactive. That is all it is. And if you can build that gap, you build the person that you want to become, because a lot of the time the emotions prevent people achieving things. And to be honest, I'd say A lot of the time, this happens. So if you can override those emotions, and if you can be stronger than those emotions, and you can think more logically around those emotions, you'll be in a great place. Okay, bridge that gap, or build that gap, unbridge that gap, and build the person you want to become. All right. Any questions about this? Give me a shout. Very, very important episode today. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know if you're really struggling with this. We can work our way through it. But have a good one, and I'll speak to you later.